What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Cash's Collectibles, and today we're going to be looking at the Super Saiyan, legendary Super Saiyan Son Goku. This figure is it's a new release. I just got it in the mail today. I pre-ordered it, I think, a couple weeks ago. I don't know, but this is based off of his very first Super Saiyan transformation in the Frieza fight on Namek. So this is a very kind of nostalgic character to me. I do love this this pose and this kind of the look, just because I love that specific fight. So let's take a look at the box before we get into anything on the inside. We got kind of this graphic of the legendary Super Saiyan Goku right there. Got some more right here. You kind of see the Kamehameha effect piece that they have included. Just a nice headshot and then a shot of his foot, I guess. I'm not really sure what they're trying to get at here. Maybe the battle damaged like pants sleeve. They got another picture right here. Son Goku, simple style and heroic action. Just so you know, this is a heroic action pose. So kind of just unfocused there, but again, some more photos. I think this photo, yeah, it's the same as that one. Yeah, and that photo is the same as this one, so that's pretty cool. Do like all of these photos. Super action Son Goku. So yeah, very nice. Again, I do like the S.H.Figuarts boxes. The nice, like, they let the light through and you can illuminate the figure, especially with this studio lights I got going on right here. So let me get this guy opened and we'll take a look at him. Okay, getting this guy out of the packaging, we see here that he comes with a pretty good amount of accessories. Taking a look at the face sculpts to start, we have, let me just kind of zoom in here for you guys. We have this kind of angry, he's not super angry yet, but he is this kind of pissed off look, if you will. I'm not really sure. Getting to angry territory, we have this yelling, this screaming Super Saiyan. This is, I feel, is more like him charging up. His mouth is open, he's screaming. This is the face sculpt that they used for those kind of charging up sequences on the packaging. So that is pretty cool. And then last but not least, we have the kind of Goku cocky smirking attitude, which I think I'm definitely going to pose him with this one, because the one that he comes with is all right. If you just kind of look at it right here, it's just kind of like a normal Super Saiyan Goku face. He's just kind of frowning almost. I don't know, he kind of just looks pissed off. Getting into some of the hands, we obviously have like fighting pose hands like this, open palm hands like that, and then what's very interesting is we have a Kamehameha effect piece. So this is the hand that directly ties into that, which I'll be showing off later. It has both hands just like that, so I will show you how that exactly works in a little bit. And he has, what else does he have? He has like normal Kamehameha hands, because that also is used with the effect, so you need both. Getting into kind of a little back into the face shells or the face plates, is we have a completely different head sculpt. So you can put any faceplate you want on this one, but this one straight up doesn't have room for like these bangs, you know what I mean? On most Goku or S.H.Figuarts, but Goku specifically, I think, is to have his bangs in front, and then you kind of take off the bangs, put on a faceplate, and put them back. This is completely blown up, so there's no bangs. He's just kind of, his hair is blowing up because he's charging, so this is a completely different face shell, specifically for like a charging pose. So if I just want to put in this, I'm not really sure. There we go. His nose is real pointy. Yeah, look at that. So that's what he kind of looks like. Has that kind of screaming, his hair is pointed up. I don't know. It's cool. It's not my favorite thing just because of this kind of lip, I guess, on the hair. It kind of looks a little weird. But, I mean, if you want to pose him like this, you totally can get away with it. So, and then for the main head sculpt, there's a second bang option where it just has the one falling down instead of, I think it's like 3 or 4 bangs. I mean, look at that. You see how it's kind of like, this one is more, you know, it's just one. So you can kind of, you know, mix and match whichever type of head sculpt or like type of hairstyle you want your Goku to have. So I think that's pretty cool. And last but not least, for the accessories, before we actually start talking about this glorious figure right here, is we have the Kamehameha effect. So starting off, you kind of just see that it's this kind of translucent blue fading into this like snowy effect, kind of. You kind of see it. It's kind of like a snowy look, kind of like a frosted look is what you can say. It has all these tiny little holes, including this circle one. So if I just want to take one hand for now, is I can just put it in just like that, and boom, he's holding this Kamehameha effect. And all these little circle pieces directly correlate to, let me just get these, one of these beams, like light beams, I guess. So I'm gonna put this one together real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like in just 1 second. So yeah, I'm just gonna put them each into, see how each one has a little like, kind of like a puzzle piece look to it. I'm just gonna put each and every one into this, and then I'll show you what it looks like in just 1 second. And just like that, we have the fully constructed Kamehameha effect, which I think it's glorious, man. I only have a couple Dragon Ball Z S.H.Figuarts, so this is like the first actual Dragon Ball Z effect that I own, which I think is super cool, and I can't wait to pose them like this because, I don't know, I just think it looks super nice. It definitely captures what it looks like in the anime with all of the like the beams of light shooting across, and you see how it kind of just connects like that. And if you want like one more hand, you can kind of get, I guess that's the wrong hand, like that, and then you can kind of pose the other hand like that, you know what I mean? So it's not limited to just the one hand, even though, just dropped the hand, but it's not limited to one hand, even though it only has one pin. You kind of just pose the other hand the way you want it. And since there's 2 pins in each hand, you can pose it on each hand. You know how it works. You already kind of get it. So I'm just going to leave this to the side, and then we're going to check out the articulation. I kind of just want to take a second to acknowledge how amazingly sculpted this figure is. My lighting kind of doesn't do him justice, especially in the face, so I'm just going to move it just a little bit. Kind of more like that. That kind of looks a little better. The only complaints I've heard about this figure are the fact that his neck seems a little too short, which I do get, but I feel like that kind of adds to the whole, he looks super bulky, you know what I mean? So it's not really a problem on my part, but the second one that I've seen a lot of people talk about is that this chest piece, so this, you can kind of see in his shoulders, and it goes down to this point, this chest piece right here, it is molded in a different plastic because it needs to be stronger since it's an essential part of the figure. But they said that it looks like a completely different color compared to the rest of the figure, which I'm not necessarily getting. Might be showing up on camera a little bit better. I can't really tell. I'm trying to see, but I mean, I guess on camera it shows up a little more. I'm not entirely sure, but in person, oh, sorry, I just knocked over my camera, but in person, it looks totally fine. So I don't think that's much of a problem for me. The battle damage looks super cool all of this stuff it's kind of pointy, so I don't know where to hold him, because I usually hold him like by the knees almost, but it's kind of pointy, and there's like obviously lots of effects and stuff. The belt looks super cool. It's articulated, of course. The back looks super good. You can tell this guy works out. Just look at that. My main problem, because I haven't really had many people talk about this, but my main problem is, I kind of said this in my Saiyan Raised on Earth video, is the butt pad. The Saiyan Raised on Earth one, I said, it kind of just slims down here, right? And it allows the legs to move backwards. But since this pad, as you can kind of see, it's sculpted almost like a square just right here, and you can't move the legs backwards. I can get my Saiyan Raised on Earth figure in just 1 second. Let me put him down, and I'll show you just exactly what I mean. As you can see on this figure, let me just straighten out the legs. The pad, or just, I don't know why I'm calling it a pad, but like the little thing here, I don't really know. It slims down, right? And it allows you to move that leg backwards, which comes in handy with a lot of specific poses. This guy doesn't have it, which kind of pisses me off, but you know, other than that, I think it's a pretty good figure. I'm gonna get into the articulation, but I just wanted to talk about the figure for just a little bit. So yeah. Okay, so starting out with the articulation, we have a full 360-degree head turn. He goes back. You'd probably get away with about that much, which is a pretty good amount. Like that's good enough for like if you wanted him to fly or something. So I'm happy with that. He goes forward a pretty good bit, which I guess is good if you want him to look like he's charging. I do notice that if you do it too far, you can kind of see that the faceplate kind of bends a little bit forward. So I wouldn't advise necessarily going that far. But if you want to, if you leave him in that pose, I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that. So I think we're good. The neck does have a little bit of articulation, just if you look at it while moving the head, but I don't really know if that's something that's really necessary to go over. We have the butterfly joints. Those go in and out. I think they're still technically butterfly joints. They're a little different than any other butterfly joints I've ever seen in my life, but they're very nice. I do like them a lot. These shoulders kind of have these weird shoulders where they kind of move a little bit. I don't know. I like them. I like them a lot, but it goes up of a pretty good amount like that. And obviously you can go like this, and you can just have it all the way up if you really wanted to. The bicep does a 360-degree, and then the elbow, that's about as far as it goes, and that's about as far as it goes on a real human body. So I think we should be good in that department. The wrist has a 360, and obviously it does move back and forth like any S.H.Figuarts wrist does. Boom. Boom. You know what I mean? So that's about it. For the top body. The torso has, I guess the abs has a little bit of turn, which is pretty good. It kind of covers up the abs, which looks a little bit weird, but if you really wanted it to turn like that, you totally could get it too. But the waist does do a 360 just like that. So I don't think it's much of a problem. It's kind of weird because the belt is movable. So if you can see that, it kind of looks like it's, you kind of see inside of him a little bit if you really look. I don't know. I think it still looks really nice. I think the belt kind of just slips on. Mine is just a little bit loose right now, which I think is fine. Yeah. So the belt, if you can see it right there, it kind of just lips onto it, right? You see that? So you can kind of just cover that up if you really wanted to, but it does do a pretty good amount of articulation, which is ideal for me, I guess. The belt does a 360-degree. If you kind of just fiddle with it for a little bit, it can go up like that, if you really wanted to. I don't know why. I guess if you want him to drop and its belt is flying through the air. As we talked about, the leg barely goes back, but you have that knee joint, which is really nice. That goes pretty much as far as you would like a knee to go. The forward is pretty good at about a 90 degree, maybe a little bit more, which is pretty nice. You don't really have like any thigh joint or calf joint, but I don't think any Goku S.H.Figuarts does, so I don't really think that's a big problem. But you do have a little bit of a turn right there if you really wanted to get it in a specific way, which I think is pretty nice. And then last but not least, we have the feet. So that goes 360 as one does, and then forward, which a pretty good amount of forward. Geez, I don't think either of the other Gokus had this much. And then a pretty non-existent back, but you can't really go back on a real human body either, so I think you're fine. And then the toes, geez, it's a lot of toe as well. I don't think you get that much toe articulation on any other figure, which I do think is pretty cool. So I think that about does it for the articulation. I think 10 out of 10, like, or I guess nothing's perfect. A 9 out of 10, I'll say, because it is about as good as you can, about as good as you can hope for it to be. It's not necessarily like I can do absolutely everything I want. This kind of belt thing kind of annoys me, how it's kind of like, I don't know, you kind of got to lip it in there. I don't know if that's just my figure, or if it's like an intentional thing, or if it's just like mine's defective. I'm not sure. It's not that big of a deal, so I'm not like too worried about it. It's just kind of weird. I do think that's really cool. If my editing planning goes right, you should have already seen a good amount of poses already just in the video, but this next section will be a kind of posing segment, so you'll see a lot more. So this pose right here, as you can see, is a little more of a kind of fighting stance starting pose, something like that. Let me just kind of center my camera a little bit better. I think it's pretty cool. I kind of use the fists. This is, as you guys know, I do like to make my first pose with the accessories that it comes with out of the box. So I'm gonna be changing it up the next pose, the next one in pose, I guess. But I think that is pretty cool. One thing I do like a lot is the muscle sculpture, I guess. The way his muscles look. They look like they're straight. Oh no, I just knocked over my Kamehameha. Okay, I'll get it later, but it looks like it's straight from the cartoon, which I do love a lot. But there's kind of the full 360. The hair is yellow. It's very good. I swear in the box art it looked a little less bright, but I don't know why bright would be a bad thing. It's the Super Saiyan hair transformation, so it should be pretty glowing. So I do like it a lot. I have zero complaints with, I mean, this pose specifically and posing it so far. So yeah, let's get on to the next one. This pose right here is also pretty cool. Let me just center him right there. This is kind of like, I don't know, it's a similar vibe as the last one, except I used the different hair piece, the one that has his kind of one bang flowing, and then I switched it to this different face sculpt, which is his like half angry but not as angry faceplate that I was talking about earlier. This pose is kind of like he's flying, he's gonna punch him, or he's shooting like a ki blast or something, or he's like stopping a giant energy blast from Frieza. I don't know, my imagination is running wild. I can make this figure do whatever I want it to do. So I do like this kind of posing a lot. I don't know if I'd necessarily keep him on my shelf like this, but because I do want to use this effect piece, so I think that'll be in the next pose. I'll do something with the Kamehameha. Speaking of Kamehameha effects, this, I mean, I'm gonna do a little bit of a zoom around just so you can see the whole body on this guy, but to zoom out here, maybe just to go up a little bit, and to kind of zoom out a little bit too. This guy looks super cool. Look at that effect, just paired with this guy. I'm gonna play around with this effect a lot. You're gonna get like at least 2 more poses out of this guy in this video. So, wow, it is just super cool. If you look at it from the right angle, you don't see the kind of, I'll zoom in a little bit. You don't see the kind of pin right there in his Kamehameha ball, which, I mean, even if you can see it, it's kind of not as noticeable unless you're looking for it. The beams of light, oh, he's really shaky. The beams of light are really nice. Just a really nice touch to the whole thing. And it really sells the fact that this is, oh wow, he's just so shaky. He's on this little S.H.Figuarts stand. So it's like, not the most ideal situation, I think. But I do think it looks awesome. Just the way the light hits it, it just looks sick. I'm gonna play around with the face sculpts and stuff, but I think this is gonna be pretty much my definitive pose for this guy. I'm gonna play around with it a lot, but I think something like this will definitely be up in the ranks, so. Here's another pose using the effect piece. I switched out the hair piece and the faceplate, and I'll zoom in just a little bit there for you guys. He is doing that kind of smirking bit. I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a look around. There's kind of a nice zoom in you have there on the on the Kamehameha. You can kind of see the frosted bits just a little bit easier. The beams of light are pretty sick, and there is the smirking Goku, which I think is really nice. I think I prefer this hair piece. It kind of looks just a little more classic Super Saiyan. The other one is nice, but I think I just prefer this one more. I love the sculpt work on this guy, and as you can see, there's a lot of scratches just around him. I don't think I've gone over that yet. It's kind of weird that they didn't really paint them in all that much, but they are there, so that is something to take note of. I think I am going to pose him using these pieces, just with this hair piece and this faceplate, and obviously with that Kamehameha. So I think I'm just going to play around with this figure a little more. If I don't find a pose that I like more than either the last one or this one, I'll tell you guys, obviously, but be ready for some more different poses. But yeah, I think this is pretty much gonna do it for me for the figure. So that's pretty cool. Here is another pose that I just found. I don't know why I say found. Another pose that I just kind of discovered putting him in. This is kind of like, I guess he's throwing a punch and he has the, I kind of like seeing the blast being charged up in his other hand. I experimented a little bit trying to get a pose that looks pretty nice where both hands are kind of on the effect piece, as kind of how you would see in the anime. I didn't get anything that I personally loved, so I don't think I'm going to be showing anything like that. This is probably going to be one of the last poses you see in this video, but I think it was pretty cool, so I do like this pose a lot. So yeah, I think that'll do it for the posing section. So yeah. So I think that'll be all for today's video. Obviously, this was the legendary Super Saiyan Goku by S.H.Figuarts. I bought my copy on the Big Bad Toy Store. If you want to buy one for yourself, I will leave a link down in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed this figure. I'm definitely going to be playing around with this guy a lot more. And yeah, this figure was amazing. Definitely, it's definitely top 3 in my entire collection, but dare I say it's my favorite. So I just love the way it's sculpted. I love the way it just looks in light. Obviously, this effect piece is the cherry on top, and you can get some pretty cool poses if you pose it correctly. So thank you guys for watching. Again, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you really enjoy the video, and hope to see more videos by me in the future. So yeah, with that, I'll see you guys later.